Hey folks, welcome to IT Rockstars. My name is Scott Miller. On today's show, we have Lisa Hendrickson of Call That Girl. I first came out from Lisa. I first started to see her posts, blog posts on the Technibble forums. That was the first time. I think it was probably back. It must have been 2011, Lisa, that I started seeing your. I guess the thing that clicked with me first was actually your business logo more than anything else. I thought it was a really cool business logo that you had. We're going to just jump straight into this, Lisa. You're now, I know, actively on the IT Business Owners Facebook group. That's kind of like where I touch base with you and see a lot of your posts. You've got 1,800 members in there or thereabouts. How did you grow it to that size?
Well, I actually don't own that group.
Okay.
And I'll just stop and say that I actually want to talk about another group I run, maybe.
All right, cool. What group is that?
That's the Office 365 group.
Okay.
So that group, I actually, just to let folks know how you can do a group is when I was an administrator at the IT Business Owners group, I said, hey, Scott, I want to start an Office 365 group. And because the IT Business Owners group is only for business owners, I wanted one where all technicians could be invited and only talk about Office 365. So my group has like 1,300 members. It's not big, but it's very well vetted. And I catch spam right away. I try to keep it all focused on techs helping technicians. And even my own spam, I try to keep it limited to, I'm the owner, I can do marketing, but I try not to flood it too much. But it's a really good group. I would call it a little more advanced technicians, like not a lot of, just starting out questions, more like advanced Office 365, Exchange, SharePoint, stuff like that. Yeah.
So this is where people go when they maybe have a technical issue with like Outlook or something like that, and they can ask the experts.
Teams, Outlook, Azure, everything is in there. So it's a really good group, so I recommend joining it. It's not too busy, so it's not like a daily running feed. There's maybe like 5 posts or less a day. Yeah, but it's a nice group.
Okay. I will have to check it out. So how did you get it to that size? That's quite a number, 1,300. I mean, how did you grow a Facebook group?
Well, first thing I did was, the IT Business Owners group had a good amount of people, so I started there. Okay. But then I also have my own following.
Did you just invite everyone across, or did you individually send invites out? How did you do that?
Well, I put a link in the group and said, hey, I'm starting up this new group if you want to join it, and we're only going to talk about Office.
Okay, I see.
And people joined. It didn't have a lot of action at first, but see, I have an online following from people that have bought my ebooks, and I'm in LinkedIn groups. I'm on Technibble. I'm kind of like I do a lot of online engagement. That's what I call it, engagement marketing. Okay. So I put the links out there and in my newsletters, and it just started to build. And now, probably in the last year, I've got people that have said, oh, I saw your link in the installs group or in my church group or, there's other groups. People are dropping the link, and I vet them with questions. So then they have to answer the questions to get in.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So it's coming from Facebook too. They promote your group on other people's feeds.
Yeah, it's like suggested groups, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I could have 50,000 members with all the clutter, but I try to keep it well vetted.
Yeah. Okay. I'm always interested to know how people sort of grow their groups and how they sort of manage them. It's not experience that I have, and I think I've just kind of shied away from it more than anything. So it's always good to find these little bits of tips on how people are growing their groups.
Well, interestingly, I had 2 other groups. One was an Outlook group and one was a SharePoint group. And they just weren't as busy, so I just said I'm closing them down and let's just focus all in one group. Okay. And I'm not a person that's out. I mean, I love chasing the numbers. Numbers seem like it's success then, but actually, when you have a real busy group, you can have a lot more drama and a lot more stuff to manage, and you're not making money off it. So why have a big group?
Yeah, I guess you're looking more for engagement than anything else.
I want people to hire me. So I've learned that with my business. I'm an Outlook expert and Office 365 consultant. So the more I'm helping people online, the more they're going to remember me when they need to hire, because I've been there, I'm doing my stuff, and I get a lot of Facebook chats. A lot.
So you purely deal with Office 365 and Outlook?
Yeah, that's all I do.
how did you come to that point where that's all that you're doing now?
Well, since this is about SEO, I'll tell you just real quick. In 2010, everybody in Minneapolis wanted to be on page 1 for computer repair.
Yep.
That was like the goal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I didn't know how to do that. I knew that there was some magic. I didn't know what the magic was.
Yep.
So I spent literally 6 months on Excel spreadsheets at night, Googling and looking at rankings, and I investigated people's pages and blogs and everything else till I finally figured out the science.
Okay.
I figured out the math, and once I figured it out, I started creating blogs that were charged up with the words.
Okay.
I was not on page 1.
So you did your own research as opposed to going to other sources to find out what they were advising?
Yeah, I investigated a lot of people's pages, keywords, how they did it, the H1 rankings, tags. I mean, I was on WordPress, thank goodness. It makes it easier. Yeah. But after 6 months, I figured it out, and I got on page 1 for Minneapolis Computer Repair or Computer Repair Minneapolis. Now, when you get on page 1, you better have the traffic in a town like that to handle the work. Okay.
Yeah.
A lot of people think the dream is, I want to be on page 1. Well, in small cities, it might not matter, but in a big city, you're going to get the calls.
Yeah. A lot of calls. I was in a similar position. I mean, I'm here in Aberdeen, Scotland. Population's about 125,000 people. It's not big. So for Minneapolis, in comparison, do you know what the population there is?
Well, the Twin Cities, I think, has over 1 million.
Yeah, you've got St. Paul as well. Wow. Okay.
St. Paul, yeah.
So yeah. I was probably getting about 15 calls a day for what I was doing on the search at the time. This was back in 2009, actually. But I guess the way I came at it was I could rank for these general terms like computer repair and combinations of that. But I was thinking to myself, what could make me money? What could make me more money? What was most profitable for me, and what was easy to do? So I kind of went down like the laptop screen repair route. You know, it was a 15-minute job.
We did that too.
It was a 15-minute job, and you could just charge more because it was a laptop. You know, it was just like, it's going to cost this much, so like $100 just for the repair. It was a 15 minutes, so it's like I should optimize my website for that. So you did that too. You did something.
Oh, we did it all. Data recovery, server support. I mean, I did all the keywords.
Okay. So
yeah,
what's happened since then?
Well, here's what happened is I hired a marketing assistant, and I had her do the blogs. She was working on them. She also did my newsletter. She did everything. And she kind of hit a sweet spot once she used the word expert for Outlook.
Okay.
So she put out one. It was just a page too, which I usually thought a blog would hit, but Outlook expert. And all of a sudden, I started getting calls from people outside of Minnesota saying, I read your blog. Well, it wasn't the expert blog. It was I was blogging about Outlook in general. Yeah. And they said, I'd like to hire you. So finally I was like, wow, why am I getting all these calls from like Illinois and Indiana and places like that? And I told my assistant, I said, we need to start doing more Outlook blogs because this is working, and I loved it. And not a lot of people know I had just a regular computer repair business for many years, but I always put Outlook on my marketing because I loved it, because that's what I'd done in the corporate world. Well, long story short is the Outlook started taking off, and in 2013, I had to close all my stores. I had 3 of them. I shut down all the operations. I went remote only, and I kind of had a breakdown. It was like I had enough of stores and hardware, and it took about a year. And I was still doing computer repair remote, like virus removals and stuff like that. But in 2014 I said, okay, I'm going to focus on only doing Outlook and Office 365.
Okay.
Well, my blogs weren't strong enough then to support just that. So I did Google ads and my blogs for about a year. But I didn't spend that much money. I think I spent around $3,000 in ads for a whole year, which isn't bad.
Yeah, okay.
So I was only doing Outlook Expert. And in that year, my blogs were catching up. That in 2015, well, hold on. In 2014, actually, is when I hired my first marketing assistant to help me create SEO blogs for the whole country. So I take that back. During that year, though, I did pay for the ads, and I stopped paying for ads in 2015.
Did you see a return in the ads? Like, were you making a
Yeah.
profit? And
Yep.
was it Google ads that you were using, or was it other form of advertising?
Just Google ads. And then I didn't run that many. It was like, I'd do $100 a week.
Okay.
If I was busy, I didn't run the ad.
Were you going after specific keywords, or
Mm-hmm.
it was Outlook expert and things like that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was looking for just expert work. I didn't put in anything else really. I had a creative ad. I said like US based, because a lot of people don't want to hire offshore.
Yep.
I learned a lot about the Google ads. I mean, the Google people loved me because I was so specific with my niche and nobody was using the word expert.
Yeah.
I'm going to just tell anybody who uses the word expert, you better be able to deliver. Okay. Because if you get called and you don't use, if you're not an expert, you're going to get called out right away.
An expert is someone that's made every mistake in the book list, isn't that? That's how I always see it, and has learned by that mistake. That's So you're a self-proclaimed expert then in Microsoft Outlook.
Yep. Well, I have to sell it to people too, and that's what kind of like when people are like, "Well, are you an expert? Like, can you really fix it?" And I said, "Yeah, I can fix anything with Outlook, but it might not be quick.
Mm-hmm.
It might be a 2 to 4 hour job because Outlook is a snaggy one."
Yeah. Okay.
So part of being an expert in selling yourself is expectations. It's super important for me in my business.
Yeah.
Because
customer
I just can't say to people, it's an hour.
Okay. I'm saying the customer expectation of you.
Well, I get a lot of, let me tell you this. I probably take right now, let's say 20 requests a week for consults. I probably land a third of them.
Okay.
People tire kicking. They don't want the price. They want to see how I am, blah, blah, blah. And I'm happy to turn down jobs.
Okay.
I'm at that point where I'm like, nah, I won't take that one.
I guess it's a really good application to be supporting because it's email, isn't it? And it's, people need their email, don't they? They kind of lost without it. So there might be a bit of tire kicking there. You're only getting 1/3 of the sales from all of your leads, but I'd say that's still pretty good if you're getting that amount. So when people are coming to you and if they find you online, do you find that they have a common question that they come to you with?
No.
Or is it all completely different?
Typically what people are doing is the Outlook expert does bring in some work. If you go to Google and type in Outlook expert, I have 2 websites.
Okay.
One is my backup in case one goes down.
Mm-hmm.
I did that early on. So I have 2. One kind of sucks, but.
And is that what you mean it goes down as in like the server goes down, or if Google drops your listing?
Well, I give Google a lot of love, so I'm not really too concerned about losing my listing. But let's put it this way. I make a lot of money off of the Google searches. So, but here's the thing is I have almost I think 1,800 blogs out there.
Wow.
So it's heavy.
So
when people search like Gmail issues with Outlook, I should rank on page 1 immediately. I've got so many Gmail Outlook blogs out there. I work with Gmail probably 40% of the time of my calls. So I know Gmail very well. Very well. I also work with iCloud. People love iCloud. So I fix that a lot. And what happens with Gmail and iCloud is I migrate them to Exchange, which is my other sweet spot, migration work.
Yeah. So Office 365 migrations.
That's how I actually put it out last night in the blog. 5 years ago is when I started doing Office 365 marketing. It was about 5 years ago because it was just kind of getting out there and it was getting kind of hot.
So what in that last 5 years, what have you learned about, you're just starting out in this journey of SEO. You've seen obviously you had a massive influx when you got ranked for computer repair, but in sort of, I guess, the latter stages, the last 5 years, what have you learned about SEO and your marketing in general? Where has it gone? Are you concentrating or are you focused on any particular platforms or methods or tactics?
I've learned that I watch the trends when there's a big problem with Outlook or Office, and I try to make a blog about it once I've repaired it. I do all my SEO investigation before I put it out there. I've also done blog series before on specific things with Outlook. I also have done blog series with GoDaddy. So I rank really high with GoDaddy.
Is this in partnership with GoDaddy or?
No,
Okay.
this is to get clients from them.
Yeah, okay, cool.
I have some pretty decent blogs with GoDaddy. So I've learned that doing a series of blogging, because I like to talk and write and all that, so it really works for me. But the biggest thing that people forget, Scott, is YouTube. And YouTube is becoming real popular well, it's been popular for years, but just in the last year, I think since they're going to take me off that partnership plan and I saved myself, I got really excited about YouTube again. Okay. And what's funny is a lot of clients in the last few months have said, I watched your video. So when I make a tutorial, I give all the answers, but I might not go into descriptive how-to. I might say, just export it. Well, people are like, well, how do I export? You know, they don't know. But I will tell you that the best ones are iCloud, because iCloud is really, really tough sometimes to fix. People think, oh, it's just so easy. It's on my phone. No, in Outlook, it's a beast.
I have never touched iCloud in the last 20 years of IT work. I have never touched iCloud. So
your audience really listening to this is Android based probably because it's technicians.
Yeah.
So I will tell you that Android technicians that use Gmail typically don't love Outlook, and they try to put people on G Suite.
I've done that.
It just works. Yeah. So here's a golden rule. I tell technicians, because you love G Suite might not mean your client's going to love G Suite. So put them on the product that works with Outlook, and that is Exchange. And I will tell you, what? Sorry,
I'm interrupting. Sorry.
It's okay. If your clients love Outlook and you want them on G Suite, you better make sure that they are ready for it, because it has a pop-up connector, and people don't like it.
I've been there before. I migrated. This was actually when G Suite or Google Apps back in the day. This was 2011 when it first came out. I was running Exchange at the time. I migrated 600 users over to G Suite. The majority of users were fine with it. It was a non-profit, and they were kind of service-based, operational. The people that had a real problem with G Suite was the office-based workers. These are the people, the accountants, finance, that love their office applications. And then they had to start using that G Suite sync tool for Outlook, which at the time was kind of horrible, and that was 5 years ago. I don't know where it is now, but yeah, you're totally right there. When make sure your users are accepting of it, because that can be a big mistake.
Yeah, and you know what? I think I've been trying to teach technicians: do what the client is using. If they're browser-based, G Suite's great. If they're Outlook-based, it's not great. There's a lot of little snags that with the connector, sometimes sharing calendars and doing groups and stuff like that. And unless you're really well-versed in Outlook, don't do it. I take a lot of break-fix calls from, believe it or not. Well, first of all, I help a lot of MSP techs, first of all. But second of all, I get a lot of calls from clients who have MSPs that have messed up the migration.
Okay.
And I get called by the CEO of the company that's so ticked off that they say, Lisa, we have a huge mess. And you know what I end up going? Okay, well, we're looking at 8 hours of me fixing your 15 users, and I do it. And then they stay on the G Suite because they just spend so much money with the migration that they're like, they don't want to pay more.
Hey folks, just a quick message from our sponsor of today's show. I'm going to leave you in with a problem that I used to have in the industry. I was doing business development and sales, and the biggest problem I had doing that, selling IT services and products, was finding qualified leads. I could quite easily go in, pick up the phone and speak to a potential client, a customer, about our services. It could quite easily go in and talk about the technology and how that technology was going to transform their business. And closing the sale was easy. That was the easy bit. The hardest part that I found, and you might be able to relate to this, was actually finding qualified and potential leads that were interested in taking on our services. This has now been solved. The new book is called Bear Attack SEO for Managed Service Providers. Now, why does it solve this problem partially? Well, you'll hear a lot about marketing on social media and LinkedIn. That's all good, but the problem with that is you're not in front of your customer at the right time in the buying cycle. You can only do that with search engine optimization. you can be in front of your potential client at the right time when they're looking for your services. So if you're interested to know how to do search engine optimization, if you're a managed service provider, check out Bear Attack SEO. Just simply Google it and you'll find it on Amazon. Anyway, back to the show, guys. Thanks. Question is, Lisa, the ones that do pay more or the ones that do take your service that are already using an MSP, do you have a partnership with another MSP? You advise them use these guys instead or anything like that? Do you have any form of referral there?
Well, here's what happens most of the time is the clients are happy with their MSP people.
Okay.
They're not happy with the migration. So to be honest with you, I just sell them a prepaid ticket and I do all their Outlook work for them.
And that's it.
And I don't even know who the MSPs are sometimes.
You keep your
and
hands
you know what?
clean.
What?
You keep your hands clean. You stay in Outlook.
Well, I'll tell you that most of my clients are CEO level and partners of law firms, and they hire me behind their IT guy's back. So I have a lot of that. And sometimes I have to say, look, we have to talk to your IT person or your MSP company, and then I give them exact instructions of what's wrong. And almost every time I have to talk to an MSP, they are totally cool with it. But I've had some people that are like, get out of here, Lisa. And I'm like, I ain't getting out of there. I'm $169 an hour. You're helping me. And then they go, okay, I'm doing what the primary wants. That's what I call them.
Exactly. But, it's in the customer's interest that you work together, isn't it, really, at the end of the day?
It is. And what I try to tell MSP folks is a lot of people don't see me as a good value add. Here's a trick I tell people is if you are troubleshooting an issue with a client and you're at the 30-minute mark and you're out Googling, it's time to call me. Because you don't know what you're doing with that problem. I mean, frankly, 30 minutes is my threshold of with a client of putting time into looking into something.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. All right. That is really good to know. So we're touching upon MSPs, and before I hit record here, Lisa, you mentioned that MSPs their SEO skills aren't great. What's your experience there?
Well,
do you have a story to tell?
I just from what I see online and all the forums, most IT technicians don't love marketing, whether you're an MSP, break fix, or whatever. Mm-hmm. So when I've had a few MSP clients for SEO work, and I'll tell you that it's just that a lot of them hire marketing companies that kind of do a good job. Some of them don't. I would say I barely know any that have done their SEO themselves. They don't want to do it.
Yeah. Okay.
It's really not hard to learn, but you really have to have somebody dedicated to doing it and continue doing it. Marketing is constant.
Yeah.
It's not static. It's dynamic.
Okay. All right. So it's the consistency that counts then.
Yeah. And you know what? I have an ebook, which is free, so everybody can download it. Scott can give you the link. But if you're going to have like your marketing person do it, I do coaching that I offer for like an hour. So have your sister read the book, get stuff ready. I can come in and totally give them a lot more tips because there's nothing more I hate than seeing is any IT business putting out links on Facebook or whatever, LinkedIn, that take people off your page. Keep it in-house. Make a blog about stuff and bring them to you. Keep the idea the same, but make a blog about it and do SEO on it and bring people to you.
Okay, so
I see this all the time.
You want to try and keep people within your own website without distracting them, sending them off to social media and whatnot.
Oh, you'll never see on my Facebook me sending you off to somewhere else unless it comes back to call that girl, ever.
Is that right?
Everything I do. And I don't have, I just follow a lot of Facebook pages and I look at it and I just want to go, why are you sending me off to Avast to go read about that? That is so dumb. Keep it in your own. Write a vast article about why you like it or whatever the case is, Mm-hmm. But that's what they do is they're not writing the content because I don't think a lot of IT folks like writing blogs, to be fair. That's what you have to do.
It is really difficult. I remember when I was doing it back in 2008 when I first, I remember doing a search for computer repair in my city and then seeing that list of people come up. I'm like, how do I get to the top here? And then I learned, you have to start producing content on things like, at the time it was computer repair. So obviously transferred to managed services now. But it's one of the most difficult tasks is sitting down and writing a 1,000 or 2,000 word article on a particular technical
Yeah.
subject that
You don't
keeps.
need that anymore. You just need a paragraph. You know what? Here's another tip is nobody searches for the word managed services. Okay.
Yeah.
Nobody in the world knows what that is but us. So that's our coined word. But here's what they do, and here's a few tips. I asked one of my clients that owns a super big business, what would you search for? And he said, outsourced IT.
Yeah.
Because he owns a big company, and if he was going to go and replace his internal, he'd look for outsourced IT.
Okay.
We'll use those kind of words. You can make them in blogs. It's very simple. In fact, I did it this summer. I did outsourced IT, and I did the top 50 cities in the United States because I have referral people now. So I take advantage of my SEO skills. I built a referral team of people that I'm like, if you need an Exchange expert, I have a guy. You need a migration, assistant, I have one. You need a OneNote expert, I know people. So that's what all the SEO has done for me, is helped me build a referral circle.
So you've got a really big network then, almost like a marketplace by the sounds of it.
Yeah. I'm actually thinking about coming up with this new thing called Lisa's List.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, it's a new idea.
One thing I noticed actually with the IT Business Owners Facebook group, I know you guys have got a website related to that, and there's like a directory within there of all the different IT businesses on it. But what I could figure out is, why is it not public? Why is it closed off that you have to be a member to see who the other members are? Surely from a search engine perspective, or people looking for a particular IT service company in a particular area, you would want to keep that public.
Well, I'm not an administrator there anymore.
Okay.
So
all right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But
okay.
I'm going to do, so I'll just say, everybody knows it. I created that website, and I put together the map and the directory. Okay. Yep. But it broke one day.
Oh, okay.
And I'm going to just tell you that outside of me lacking excellent WordPress skills, I had enough to make it. But once it broke, we had Nathan work on it. And so now they're doing it. So I'm out of that.
Okay.
But I'm going to create my own, but it's not going to have a map, because I think we all know where things are in the world. Okay. Mine's going to be more of a directory, and it's not for business owners only. It's for other technicians, other people, other referral people. I'm going to take it to another level.
Okay, I've got somewhere on my website. It's an IT directory of managed service providers in the UK, and it gets quite a bit of traffic, but it's mainly for branded terms. So if someone is looking up a particular company, like one of your competitors, for example, if you're a managed service provider, you usually get quite a bit of traffic, 3 or 4 hits a day for the branded term, the company name. And that seems to work quite well into the direction for me. So if there's a competitor looking up the competitor in Google, they see the company name, they go into the website, and then they'll add in their listings. So that's maybe something that's worth doing.
Mine's not going to be for that. Mine's going to be to actually hire somebody, like boots on the street kind of thing, to go hire somebody. Okay. So let's say you get a contract in the United States, and you need 10 people, and you need someone in Alabama, Florida, Virginia. The directory is going to be people there. I'm not going to focus on the SEO part of it. Yep. It's just more to go find somebody in that area. But let me just tell you that creating a directory of that size is going to be exhausting work. And it's not going to be easy, because I did that one for the IT blog, and it was hard. I did
it was 700 managed service providers, and that was hard enough. I had a couple of virtual assistants put the list together for me, but
making money off that?
Yeah, as I say, it gets traffic every day to it, so I don't particularly make money off of it, but I generate leads from it, because, as I say, competitors are going there looking at their competitor's company name, and they go, "Hey, I want to get listed on this website as well," and then they enter their details in there. So it's a way for me to attract other managed service providers.
Nice.
Into the directory. So it works like that.
I'm not 100% sure I'm doing this idea, but I'm kind of thinking about it, because remember early on in our podcast here, I said that I've got the Office 365 group. That to me is it's a great place to start utilizing technicians around the world for such things as large scale migrations. And I'm not focused on computer repair. I'm focused on the bigger work.
Yep.
So many people are getting jobs for migrations around the country and around the world. They need somebody sometimes, on-prem servers, things like that. So, but we'll see. I haven't made my mind up, but it's just a new idea. And you guys all know me that are watching. I'm always trying to stir up some new pot, doing something else.
So I've got a question for you, Lisa. I mentioned to you, I'm in the middle of writing a book at the moment. I'm not in the middle, I'm almost finished it. And you mentioned that you've done multiple ebooks. What's your experience of selling ebooks to other technicians? Has it been positive, negative? Has it been, do you have any insight to someone that's writing their first book for technicians?
Well, I was lucky when I started doing my ebooks, I had an audience already built in.
Okay.
I got the idea from TechNibble, people asking me, can you write a book about that? Because that's a great book. Without TechNibble, I never would have done any of this. You wouldn't even know me.
Yeah, well, that's where I came across you first of all. As I said, it was your business logo. I
always give Bryce and the team there credit for a lot of the stuff I do online, because I joined TechNibble. Now, here's the thing, though. I joined TechNibble, but I became very engaging myself. You can't just get an audience by just sitting there doing nothing. I completely dove in and I started posting all the time. And frankly, the reason why I did is because I didn't have any IT friends anywhere. Even my local people didn't like me. So that was like, hey, I got all new buddies, Well, I started talking about social media. I started talking about manual of operations. And finally, I started talking about remote support. So in 2010, those were 3 things that people were like, wow. I came out of the gate talking about 3 new things. And people were like, we want the books. So within 6 months, I wrote 3 books.
Wow. Okay. And
boom, boom, boom. Yep.
That's
and
a
then
lot.
It is. But those were little ones. And I already had the social media one done almost. The manual of operations, I had an intern helping me with that. And then the remote book. Okay. If anybody bought my first edition of the remote book, it was pretty crappy. It was written in a weekend when I was really poor, and I was really super poor. So I literally got 2 bottles of wine, a bunch of cigarettes and peanut butter, and I just cranked out this book over the weekend, and it was pretty crappy, but it sold for $100 a person. Everybody was dying for the info. But get this, the people didn't complain about how crappy it was. They just wanted to learn. So then I said, okay, so everybody that bought the book, I'm going to make another edition and make it really, really good. So they got it free. Okay. The second edition sold like insane. It was awesome. And then a year later, I made the 3rd edition, and that was the last edition because at that point, everybody was doing remote and it wasn't so popular. But that was kind of the one I was known for. But, ebooks are still popular. I think a lot of people are doing the Kindle now and reading Amazon online, but I learned my audience. I created 3 more ebooks after that in every year. And I thought they were going to do really well, but in the end, I just decided to start doing videos, and those weren't selling good. So I was like, I'm making the great content, but I just don't think that, I think people are so easy to go Google things they want to learn now that they'd rather just go find a blog, read a couple paragraphs, they learned it,
Get the information.
Or watching YouTube. What's that?
They just wanted to quickly get the information as having to digest the whole big piece of content.
So for my content, it was about a month and a half ago that I said, look, I want to focus on other things. My goal now is to work with IT companies, MSP, to get them to hire me to step in and help and teach their teams Outlook and Office. I want to be their backup person when they have problems. I love working with technicians. So I decided I'm going to give all my stuff away for free for marketing so more people can get to know me.
Okay. So it's all free now?
It's all free.
That $100 ebook. Okay.
No more dollar ebooks. It's all free. But the reason why was because the books, trying to sell them was a lot of stress. Trying to sell the videos was stressful. So I had an epiphany.
Why did you find it stressful?
Well, because the book sales have gone down every year.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, not making as much money, and I would try to find a new way to get them out to a new audience.
Okay.
Well, people weren't buying them. I'd do a huge marketing campaign with somebody and sell like one. So all that time I put in
Yeah.
was a waste.
Okay.
So here's what I did was I watched a YouTube video with Louis Rossman. Have you ever watched his stuff?
Oh yeah, yeah, I've seen his stuff.
I love Louis.
Uh-huh.
I watch him not for the motherboard repairs, but to learn how he is on YouTube, and I just love him.
He's an interesting character.
He's a cat. So he did a video called Thank You. And at the very end of the thank you video, he really hit my heart when he said, give it away. Don't sell it. Give it away. People are going to learn from you. And he was telling millions of people, not just me. And he said, I'd rather have 5% of the huge pie than 20% of the small pie.
Okay.
And that's when I got thinking. I was like, look, I'm already an expert in Google. I am an expert on YouTube. I already have got my engagement online going. People know what I do. So I was like, I'm giving it all away. And since I've been giving it away, Scott, I have over 1,000 downloads. And that's been in a month.
Oh, wow. That's
so
quite a
I
number.
couldn't have got 1,000 downloads with people paying it. But now 1,000 downloads, that's people seeing my stuff.
Yeah, you're reaching a bigger audience.
Yeah.
That's some great insight actually there, right there.
Yeah.
That's probably going to, that experience that you've had so far is probably going to work into my marketing plan. I am going to sell a book, but the book actually, it's not actually there for the money. It's more about getting the information out myself on what I've learned in SEO and how that break fix transfers across to MSP, or how actually it's completely different actually more than anything else. I think you touched upon it there when you mentioned outsourced IT. It's trying to.
Oh yeah, outsourced IT is a big word, and any of the stuff that here's what I tell people is ask your 5 best clients what they would search for to find you.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they already knew you from a friend or whatever, and you got to get into their brain and just to say, hey, real quick, what would you Google if you're looking to, whatever. I asked my best client that.
Okay, so yeah, we're all looking for an Outlook expert, Lisa, at some time or other. I know that for sure. But every time I fire up Outlook on a daily basis, yeah. Okay, Lisa, I think we're going to leave it there. Was there anything else you wanted me to cover in this interview?
No, it was actually a really great interview here. I had a different outline in my head, but I think we covered it all.
Yeah, I kind of like the story more than anything else. That gets across a lot of information. So how can people get to know you? Where can people get in touch with you?
Okay, I have 2 websites. CallThatGirl.biz is the business side for the Outlook and the office help and all that stuff. That's where all my blogs are. CallThatGirl.com is kind of where it's called the Tech Classroom. It's where all the books are for free. Go to CallThatGirl.com. At the top, it says click here to get all the free stuff. It's all free. Just check out and you get it instantly. I am for hire for special things. I don't really promote SEO and marketing coaching, but on occasion I get the request, and I'm $125 an hour, and I will put you through a brutal hour with a lot of homework. Oh yeah, it's worth it.
Okay.
And then you do your homework, and then we do another hour, and I teach you, and I teach you, and I teach you. Oh, wow. Or you can just get on my CallThatGirl.biz scheduler if you want. And here's the end thing here is I'm doing a 1 hour only for technicians, $79 to test my prepay to see how you like it. My normal rate's $149 to $169, but the $79 is for technicians to test me because I want people to start utilizing me. I'm really quick.
Okay.
And I see what you're doing wrong, and I'll step in and go, here's how you're doing it wrong. Here's how to do it right. And then you go fix it. And then it's a win.
Cool.
I don't have to do it, and you learn it.
Okay, well that's great, Lisa. Thanks for being on the show today. Thanks for everyone listening to us too. You can hit like, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next episode of IT Rockstars. Thanks, guys. Bye.
That's great. See ya.